Prepositional phrases in English consist of a preposition, its object, and any words that modify the object, being a noun, a verb, or a clause. At a minimum, a prepositional phrase consists of one preposition and the object it relates to. The object can be a noun, a verb, or a clause. Some of the most common prepositions that begin prepositional phrases are to, about, at, by, behind, during, for, from, in, under, and with. Any sentence that has a prepositional phrase has one of these prepositions as the central element or head of the sentence. The remaining part of the phrase is the object, or formally, the prepositional complement. In general, a prepositional phrase can function as an adjective or adverb. Some examples are, I'm going to the store. You're talking about the subject. He is at the hospital. She walks by the park. It is behind the door. We won during the game. This flower is for the pot. They returned from the theater. The cake is in the oven. The cat is under the desk. And he goes out with his dog. All of these sentences have prepositional phrases. The prepositions are the words that relate to or govern the other elements in the phrase, and the objects are the continuation of the prepositional phrases that complement the prepositions. However, it's worth noting that all of these prepositional phrases are adjectival because they act upon nouns and modify them. A prepositional phrase that behaves adjectivally is also known as an adjectival phrase. For instance, in the sentence, I'm going to the store answers the question of where I am going, acting as an adjective and modifying the noun store. Similarly, in the sentence, she walks by the park gives us information about where the subject walks. Likewise, the cake is in the oven indicates that in the oven is where the subject is. All of these adjectival phrases provide specifications for nouns to reinforce the understanding of the function of prepositions. On the opposite side, prepositional phrases can modify verbs rather than nouns, and when they do so, they behave adverbially because adverbs modify verbs. A prepositional phrase that acts adverbially is also known as an adverbial phrase. Here are some examples. Time goes by quickly. This works well for them. Halloween is in October. He's standing behind you. He can do it with pleasure. In the sentence, he's standing behind you is the adverbial phrase that answers the question, standing where? Behind you. Similarly, he can do it with pleasure answers the question, how can he do it? With pleasure. Moreover, it is very tempting to overuse prepositions and prepositional phrases, but it may not be the best course to use as many as you want because using the right amount will make writing more elegant with more effort. Grammatically, there will be nothing wrong in a sentence that has many prepositional phrases, but meaningfully, it will be too wordy and too much, so it's best to keep things short. For instance, it's possible to have this sentence. He runs fast, with caution, in the park, by the people, for himself. Even though there's nothing wrong grammatically, this sentence has 4 prepositional phrases, which is a sign that it can be written a lot better. Like, he cautiously runs in the park by the people. Now, the sentence has 2 prepositional phrases, which is the perfect amount because it's possible to omit one phrase and change an adverbial phrase to a direct adverb, thus eliminating a phrase and causing a more simplistic modification. Another way to reduce prepositional phrases is to switch from a passive voice to an active voice. And even though it's a complex topic for a future video, it's worth showing just one example. In the sentence, the road was crossed by the chicken, the passive voice makes the phrase sound fuzzy, so the prepositional phrase, by the chicken, seems a bit silly. It would be better to rewrite the sentence in the active voice, like, the chicken crossed the road, having no prepositional phrases and making the meaning more uniform.